football team. I go home, I hunt, fish. Like to be outside a lot.
What program are you in at the tech center?
I'm in the electrical program, and I'm in Mr. Lanham's marketing class.
And we're excited to see where this takes us. First question. Do you believe in cryptids?
A few.
Which ones?
Like Mothman.
What is your knowledge about them?
I don't know a lot. I really don't. I don't know much at all, actually. I've heard a few stories here and there, but that's about it.
Well, would you like to know more about Mothman?
I would love to.
Do you have a guess of when the first sighting was, like the year?
Ooh, long time ago.
It was back in 1966, where 5 men were digging a grave, and that led to the eventual title being put on Mothman of it being a harbinger of death because there was a bridge that collapsed, and he was seen right around the same time. What do you think of cryptids in general?
I mean, I think it's a weird subject. You know, everybody believes different things. You don't know what's true, what's false.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of just what each person believes. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just what you believe in.
Do you think it has anything to do with like people's like mental like state, like say?
Yeah, I think so. I think it can have a lot to do with that, actually.
Do you have any like personal experience with like, even if like you're outside and you heard like a strange noise, do you have like anything?
No, I mean, I've had stuff like that, but you know, you try to calm yourself down. It's like, it's just something up in the woods, something moving, but you try to not go there at that moment in time, but then later on you're thinking about it.
Just trying to like not think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
How long have you known about cryptids?
A few years ago, I kind of learned about it. I think it was something in my English class, actually. We had a topic about it where it was kind of just the same thing. We just kind of sat down and talked about it, and there were a few stories about it. So that's where I kind of first learned about Mothman and heard a few stories. So
I feel like with like cryptid stories, it can change over the years. Like, do you think like as stories are passed down, do you think like it is exaggerated?
Oh, 100%. You know, whatever those first guys saw at the gravesite can be something completely different. They might have never even seen it.
Yeah.
You know, it's all he said, she said type stuff. So it just falls back to what you believe in and how far you really, truly want to get with it.
They're just good little campfire stories.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming up after the break, we're going to talk more about cryptids with our next guest. Welcome back. We're here with Jesse, and we're going to talk more about cryptids. What are your knowledge about cryptids?
I don't know a lot about them.
Like nothing at all?
Not really, no.
Have you heard of Mothman?
Yes.
There's also other ones. I don't know if you've heard of. There's also the Flatwoods Monster.
Yep.
You've heard of him?
Mm.
The Grafton Monster?
No.
Not at all?
Nope.
Would you like to know more about it?
Yep.
Alrighty. The first sighting was the summer of 1964, where a journalist named Robert Cockrell was driving home along the Tyger River whenever the creature came out of the shadows. And the interesting thing about this one in particular is, where with most of them they have like a distinct whenever they a certain event happened and that was tied to them. This one has no clear origin story, nothing about it. Do you believe that they're real?
It's like 50-50 with it. You don't know if someone's lying about it or not. So, proof or it didn't happen.
Yeah. Do you think even if someone did have proof that it happened, would you still believe them?
Maybe. Today there's a lot of AI and Photoshop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
When was the first time you heard of a cryptid?
I heard about the Mothman a couple years ago.
Do you remember?
It was from a movie, I think.
Do you remember what movie it was?
I have no idea.
I asked Taylor this question earlier, but do you think that people, if someone sees something in the woods, do you think their mind's tricking them, or do you think hey, this could actually be a...
Nah, that's something out there.
It's something... what makes you think that?
Because it's dark. I don't know, I can't see. So,
It's just too dark.
yes.
Do you have any experience with you're outside and you hear a strange noise and you think you see something?
A lot of times, yeah. But I think I'm just delusional.
Well, what's one story?
Well, there was this one time I just got done watching the Chainsaw Massacre thingy, and I went outside to feed my rabbits, and I kept hearing chainsaws. I ran back inside. I was too scared.
Yeah. I've had experiences like that too, especially after I watched scary movies and scary shows.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the mind just tricking you, because it's just, I only have those experiences after I see something that scares me, and yeah, it's just mostly just nothing that's turned into something. And yeah, that's really my opinion on it.
I don't know. There's one cryptid in particular. It's called the Snarly Yow, and it's a really funky name. It's said to be a dog-like creature that it might be the spirit of a tortured animal that was getting revenge on the people who heard it, or for other animals. And I'm that could happen. You do kind of hear about people getting or ghosts coming back and getting revenge for stuff. So do you think that would ever happen? Say something weird happens and I don't know, but I almost like karma.
Yeah, I do believe that. What are your guys' opinions of the cryptids?
I believe that some of them could be real, and most of them aren't. They're just made up, and it's just based off what certain people have seen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, maybe Mothman could be real, because there's been so many sightings of them. It's not just been one person who thought they saw something. So that's just, yeah, that's...
I would say the after this break, we'll come back with our next guest and talk more about cryptids. Thanks for sticking around. We're back here with Zoe Moore. What do you know about cryptids?
I don't know much about them. I just know like their urban stories, urban legends.
Do you know like anything in like a certain story that like sticks out to you the most that you really are for sure like, yeah, this could be?
None of them really stick out to me. I'm not a big believer in them, but I like know the Mothman because it's from like around here.
Yeah. Do you have like any like weird like instances that you could like chalk up to like, hey, this might be actually like a weird like creature that might like, because I know like around my house we have like a lot of woods, so like there are like weird noises and stuff, so we're like very cautious about that stuff.
I don't think that so. I feel like our mind is a big thing, and our mind can work us up to believe things that aren't there, and also hearsay. It's a human like thing to believe hearsay, and I feel like our brains put so much into that stuff that it's like we overwork ourselves about it.
Do you think the stories have been the stories of the cryptids have been dramatized over the years, or do you think, hey, just like small details have changed? Like,
When 100%, I think they've been dramatized. Us humans, we like to add up a whole bunch and dramatize everything. So I don't think the same stories are from like the 1900s. I think they're completely different than now.
do you think that people's influence on a certain area has affected how, like, say, I don't know, settlers, because Monongah is a big, like, migrant town. Do you think, like, people coming from different countries has, like, brought in more stories?
100%. Everyone has their own stories from different places. Like across the world, there might be something that we know here isn't real. It just depends on where you're coming from or who you believe or what you believe.
Why do you think that, like, people, well, not why, but, like, do you think that, like, certain, like, cultural beliefs come into play? Like, how, like, most cultures, like, you know, people from the United States aren't really, like, ancestor-orientated, but most countries are. Do you think that has anything to do with it?
Oh, 100%. Because, like, back then, like, people used the Aztecs, like, and the Greek gods. People would, like, believe all this stuff, but then, like, now we don't. Most people don't, like, pray to them, and this stuff still happens. So it's, like, it's just, like, a myth from, like, the past.
Do you think they're just, like, little things that, like, just stick with us, and you're like, okay, this is kind of, like, acceptable
Yeah.
at this point?
It's just things we get used to, and then it's, like, seen normal in society because it's so common.
Do you think people have, like, spread, like, almost, like, installed fear with, like, stories? Like, hey, this one's really dangerous, even though it might be one that, like, you haven't seen at all, or just not even a story of?
1,000%. That, like, back to what I was saying with the brain, like, well, like, once you see a scary movie, then you're scared to go out because of that scary movie. Our brains pick up the parts that they want us to fear, and then they keep it just to scare us.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. I don't have any questions. Yeah.
What are your thoughts about, you know, like, bringing cultures bringing in stories about, you know?
I'm not, like, my thoughts on culture bringing in stories.
Like, different cultures bringing in their own, like, stories.
Yeah, like that stuff happens, and I mean, it can get, like, mixed in everywhere, and it can cause a lot of drama and everything. That's really my opinion.
What do you think kind of drama?
Like, I don't know, like, a lot of stories, lots of rumors, all that kind of stuff.
Do you think the rumors can be, like, this is a question for either of you. Do you think, like, the rumors surrounding these can be, like, outwardly harmful to people? Or do you think that, hey, you just have to, like, learn how to, like, know it's, you know, in one ear, out the other?
I think you have to learn in one ear, out the other. Because there's some people that, seeing the Mothman at the bridge, that could just be a rumor. Like, people might not have actually seen him there. But if you sit there and argue with someone who thinks they have seen him, it's not going to, like, it's just going to be an argument. It's not going to be a conversation because people, like I said, our brains collect that stuff, and they're so into it that they believe that he was there. They saw him.
Do you think if someone had proof of seeing something, would you believe them more, or would you kind of stay the same, like, kind of real, kind of not?
I'd probably still say the same. I think you'd have to have some like real proof. Like the man would have to be standing in front of me.
Yeah. Just popping up and say hello.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't.
Thank you for tuning in this week on our Off Topic podcast. Come back next time to see where this podcast takes us.